Welcome to the Out There channel. Special live stream, a live tutorial on what is streaming and how to use it with YouTube's new studio, September 2020. So let's see how this goes. Trying to do a stream while explaining the stream, it might be a bit tricky, but we'll see how this works out. Just play my usual intro for my channel, which is on UFOs and Earth Mysteries, paranormal. Doing video analysis of captures to see if it's misidentified. That's mostly what I do, and bring UFO topics that you may not have heard about. But I do these occasional tutorial videos just to help out other people. So I'm not too sure who's going to show up here. Hey, here 51, how's it going? Are you ready for class? So this is unscripted, so who knows what problems we'll find, but hopefully it'll go alright. Hello. Good to be back. Okay. So I wasn't planning to do one today, but yeah, I thought it'd be worth doing another tutorial on streaming since Google have done some updates. So we'll see how it goes. It's a wee bit laggy behind at the moment. Still haven't got fast internet here. They're meant to be implementing it. Who we got out there? Roberts. I'm doing a live tutorial on what streaming is and how to do it on YouTube's latest studio. Day off work, and it's not about UFOs. So I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this, but we'll see how we go. So first of all, we need to know the basics of streaming. Actually, I'll just keep one browser open. So in the early days, a protocol was invented called Rtmp, which basically sets up a communication between two devices, one being normally a web server that's capturing the data, and your home computer that's sending the data to it. So if we put in here, what is Rtmp, we can find some definition for it probably. Let's see. Maybe I should just put in RTMP. Normally the wiki page comes up. Here we go. So it stands for Real-Time Messaging Protocol. It's a bit of a mouthful. Was initially a proprietary protocol developed by Macromedia for streaming audio, video, and data over the internet between a flash player and a server. So that sort of technology has progressed on. Macromedia is now owned by Adobe, which has released an incomplete version of the specification of the protocol for the public to use. So this is why we're now using it. So it allows us to encrypt what we're sending over the internet to this other end. So you've seen the little diagram that I had up on the thumbnail. Here's a little diagram here. So basically, you got the web server here, and it's capturing video being sent from the client, or actually also to the client as well. It can stream it both ways, which is why we got two arrows here. So in this case, I've got YouTube up here, and it's also got a web server with some other software on it. So you can send multiple streams at the same time to different places, and both will capture the same stream that's going on. So you've probably seen people doing that online, but I only send it to YouTube at the moment because you need the bandwidth. For doing a 1080p bandwidth, which is this quality here, so you can actually read the font, you need at least 8 megabits per second upload, and that's just for the stream. So if you're going to do 4K video, I think it's going to be in the order of 15 megabits per second. So that's often written by that, I think, capital M, I think. How fast is 50 megabits international internet speed? I mean, so they're talking about download, but we need it for upload to be able to do a stream of 4K, which will probably come in future. So it's talking about 4K definition here, so it looks like I'm correct. See that? So my memory's not failing me at this 50-plus-year-old age. Keep in mind, multiple users from multiple devices will affect your bandwidth. So the problem we have at the moment, because I'm only on 10 megabit per second, it's good enough to do in 1080p, but if you start adding on a voice chatter, which is also getting a stream of what your desktop's doing, it's going to be pushing the 10 megabit per second. So you really need 20 megabits per second to do both at the same time properly without any video corruption. So they would sometimes get corruption near end. But generally, because it varies in bit rate, depending on what you're doing on the screen here, that's another layer of complexity of video encoding, which we won't go over. But the stream can go from 5 megabits per second all the way up to 8 megabits per second for 1080p transmission on standard 30 frames a second. Now some do 60 frames a second, so obviously that's going to double that as well. So it depends on the frames per second also. So there's a lot of factors you've got to calculate in mathematics to get it to be trouble-free. And of course, if your bandwidth is overloaded, you will get a message on YouTube panels saying warning, stream current bit rate is lower than expected, right? So that's when you know that you need to upgrade your bandwidth. So all we know is a encoding algorithm that your streaming software encodes to, with a password embedded into the code so no one can hack into it while it's sending it off to YouTube. And YouTube, you obviously tell it the password so it can decode it. And what it does is it stores it as you're streaming it in what's called a TS format. And then it also, after the string's finished, it says it's encoding it, so it converts that TS format into an MP4 format. So what is TS format? So MPEG transport system, MPEG TS, or simply transport stream is a standard digital container format. So look, it's like a open source, public. Anyone can use it in their software. So it sends it off in that format, which is like less compressed, right? I guess it's got some error control in it. It gets a bit complicated when you start looking at all this details. So I don't really want to go into it all. But basically, it's designed for variation in speeds of your bandwidth. So if it slows down, the TS will still keep it all in sync on the other end. But it's still going to encode it using H.264. Anyway, where did we get to? Hey. Looks like the software crashed and I didn't notice, and I don't even know why it crashed. But I didn't reboot my computer before the live stream, which is probably not a good idea, not to do a clean start. Sometimes what happens is Windows interferes, right, and tries to do updates and ends up dropping stuff off. So where did I get to? I think I was talking about... so let's resuming from where I left off, hopefully. But I didn't reboot my computer before the live stream, which is probably... Okay, so where was it talking before it interrupted us? Decode it. And what it... less compressed, right? I was saying less compressed, but what I meant is it handles flow control and error correction. The compression there is handled by a format which I just finished up talking about, called H.264, which is generally used by TV networks, streaming software, and generally the preferred choice for doing 720, 1080p, and all the formats below that. And there's a H.264 compression, video compression used, which is packaged into a TS format, what they call container, so it can handle flow control to the other end, and sends it off like a TS. Try and think of the TS format as like a tunnel, and think of what's in the tunnel as H.264 video compressed video. Let me just type that in there. So I was just trying to find what is X? Here we go. H.264 is a video compression technology, or Code C, or codec as some say, that was jointly developed by the International Communications Union and International Organization for Standardization. This goes on and on and on. And it makes pretty good compressed videos without any loss of quality. Because what it does is it actually just compresses any moving bits on the next frame. As you know, there's 30 frames a second, or 25, depending on what country you're in, based on the old PAL system that UK used, and Americans had their own system that uses more frames. So there's now H.265, which is the next compression technique used on videos, and it's for 4K videos or higher. So what comes after that, I don't know. H.265, maybe someone works out how to compress it even more. So they compress any colors on the screen using certain algorithms, and motion vectors. So they just compress a chunk on the next screen and overlay it on the previous frame, so they don't have to encode the whole frame. It's quite clever how it's all done, but you don't really need to know all that about streaming. Just know that some clever dudes sorted it all out for us. And so H.265 is called High Efficient Video Coding, or HEVC. So it's the other names it's known by. Video compression standard designed as part of the H project, successor to the 264 MP-4 part 10, as they used to call it there. So lots of technical stuff there, which we probably don't need to know, and I'll have to keep checking my stream hasn't crashed. But that's what's good about the TS format. It controls the flow control, and once it stops receiving data, or just hang there and wait for more data to come, rather than just ending your stream, right? So I can reboot my computer and start streaming again, and it'll start appending to the same live stream. That's if you've got it set up properly, which isn't what I'm going to talk about here. What else would happen is a lot of software automatically creates the videos on YouTube to be launched by people, and when it goes down, it simply ends the stream because they've got the setup different, instead of just resuming once they come back online. Which is what they call zombie streams, right? It's got the same key, and it's trying to send the information to all these videos on YouTube all at the same time. The same stream data is trying to be captured by YouTube software on 1 to 3 different other streams that got created by the software, which is a bad way of doing it. So this is why I'm doing this video, to explain not to do it that way. So best to do it in the manual way and understand how the manual way works. Whew. Okay, so it's still working all right here by the looks of it. I knew there'd be some technical problems. There always is with stream software, and this is a key example why I dropped off there for 5 minutes, and I didn't notice the error message on my other display, which has all the control software on that for Google. So it comes out like this here. I wonder if I can do that though without stuffing it up. Probably not. I'll probably just bring up a panel in a minute to show you. Let's see, just try that first. Let's see if I can bring it here, just to show you what's going on without causing an infinity loop. Alright, so as you can see, hopefully it won't crash. I'm not too sure how it's all going to work together, but you can see here it's very big font. And it's at the moment giving me a warning that my upload speed is pretty bad today. I don't know why. And now it's saying it's excellent. So you've got to keep an eye on this. And sometimes when it says no data, it means that your software has stopped prematurely, which there are various bugs and obviously Windows updates that kicks off the software, which I think was what happened before. I think Windows 10 tried to do something sneaky in the background, and it caused the streaming software, which I use as ManyCam, to crash. And I wasn't expecting it. Or you got something to do with the video card. So as you can see, they give you some stats, how many people have liked the video so far, and how many people are currently watching, although I don't know how accurate that is. Plus it gives you the side chat, which you can pop out here. Now, as you can see, I've got another one already running. So you can actually open up. I've got 3 of these open now. I've got this one here I use on my stream. And I've got this one here for demonstration. And I've got my control one over the other screen. So you can see that this is running quite nicely. And so we need to go on and talk about the next step, which is what software to use. So I've got the editor up here. So first of all is the most common software used out there is called OBS Open Source. And the other one is ManyCam. Why is it not drawn? ManyCam. Here we go. Now, this one's not free, although it does have a free option where you can test out some basics of the streaming. In fact, does it even let you do streaming? You might have to buy a pro license to be able to do streaming on ManyCam, or this one's actually free, the OBS, that's why more people use it. So that's free. And this one's license. So I use ManyCam because it allowed more options at the time. And I'll just go over that now. And plus it had an easier interface, and it had some other add-ons OBS didn't have. But OBS, is because it's open source, people can create plugins. So they can actually improve the software with plugins and add functionality in that ManyCam has. So ManyCam's got what you call a virtual camera, virtual cam, and OBS doesn't, but it has a plugin now, from what I read, that someone's coded to do the same thing. It also, basically what that means is whatever you're catching on your second screen, because you really need 2 screens to be able to do streaming properly, especially if you're doing presentations. It allows you to stream to a video chat. So this is why I chose it, because it can stream to a chat and it can stream to YouTube at the same time. And that's what I was saying before about the megabits needed. So to do in 1080p, so you got your chat program, which can be Jitsi, Discord, Skype, or you can have all of them on the screen if you want to, because they're all grabbing the same virtual camera feed, which is coming from the same buffer. And then you got your Rtmp string going to YouTube. But you can have, like I said, multiple streams. So you could have a multiple stream also coming from ManyCam. This can do a plugin for chat, although I don't know, I've never tested it to see how good it is compared to ManyCams. But it allows you to do what you call a overlay of maybe Skype or something like that. So it's going to be less flexible because it relies on whatever code and they do. So what I do is on ManyCam, I simply just open up a web browser or the app and call up people and just drag it onto the display here where the talking alien head is. And it allows me to resize the window and make it big and all that sort of business without having to muck around with overlays. And the benefit of that is I think it's less CPU. Because the more overlays you have, by overlays I mean that you have graphics overlaid on top of graphics. So you have like your background image, which would be your desktop capture, and you overlay a person's face and a little square in the corner. And then you can add another overlay for other functions like what I have down here, tickers and alerts. So this also streams to YouTube and other locations, right? You can multiple streams to Twitch, YouTube. So once you understand how it all sort of fits together, it sort of makes sense, right? And stream 2. There we go. But ManyCam can do that as well. So they're the two packages that are primarily used out there. There's probably other ones out there. There are ones that are web-based, that you log into a web page, and it uses the Chrome's web API system, which is like a programming library to capture from your camera and microphone and send it off to their server. So it's another way in doing it. It's like a web application that you can run on the cloud as well. But we ain't going to get into that. We're running on standalone software here, so obviously they make this for all the different OSs out there: Windows, Mac, and Linux or Linux, depending on how you want to say it. And of course the same for here, OS Mini, and of course you've got Android as well. So that's the basics now. Now the key is setting up all the software is for YouTube. So this is where they've created a control panel, which we have to go back to. This one here. Normally you get your login page like this. So I'll just bring it up. Just go Studio. So normally when you log into your YouTube account, it tells you your stats, a dashboard as they call it, of your last video, how much money you're making from donations in the last 28 days. So I've made 64 US, I think it is it? I suppose that'd be about right. It's never enough, I tell you, amount of stuff you got to buy, pay licenses for. Because all this software that you use, like ManyCam, does have a cost, initial cost, startup cost, if you want to use that over the free software. You can see here that I'm using Brave, but you could quite easily just use Chrome. Brave is like a super fast Chrome. They've cut out all the unnecessary code to make it super fast. And also they've added their own ad blocking, which they call shouldnt here, which you can turn off and on for YouTube and whatnot. As you can see, it still works with the shield on, which it should do. It should only block suspicious scripts and ads, of course. So we're using Brave for this, and you can see here we can click on the create button up here to go live. Right, so we're going to simulate creating a live stream, although we're actually doing a live stream. And you can see here we currently got one labeled as going live. Alright, the tutorial that you're currently watching and tells you details like it's public. But if we click on that, we get that panel we just had. Alright, if we click there, brings up that panel again. So it allows us to monitor what's going on, and we can actually click on there and end the stream, which we've got to be careful not to do at this stage. So yeah, we want to go back out of that. So this part down here is called manage. They've also got a part here called Webcam. So if you don't want to use OBS or ManyCam, you can actually connect it straight to your laptop camera, and it will capture whatever you're doing on your Android phone as well, camera, using the app on there, and it allows you to stream without any other complex software. Depends how fancy you want to get. So the idea of using ManyCam is you can do a lot more with it, and you can overlay various effects and things. Well, if you just capture your webcam, you're only going to get a picture of your face, right? So you can't actually show people your desktop and stuff, unless the software allows you to do screen capture, of course, or the app allows you to do screen capture. And of course, you got this one up here, the old what is that one? Is that the old stream they still got there? Not too sure. I never used that one. I'm not going to click it to find out. I think it might be another way to. I think it might actually take us to how to create a live stream as well. But we want to do manage here. So we want to schedule a new live stream. So normally this is blank because we've not got any streams going. So you can say schedule a new stream. And it comes up with this panel here where you can use a past live stream. So it allows you to use the same settings over and over again, so you don't have to keep setting up your streaming software. So in this case, we want to create a new one. So we're going to create a stream in the future, and you just plug in all the details, right? Future stream. We don't want to make it public, this one, because it's only going to be a practice. So we got an option of making it only us, unlisted, so people won't know that it exists unless they've got access to the link that's posted around other social medias, right? Plus you got these new channel memberships where people can click the join button and donate monthly. They get special access to videos that you create later on, different layers, membership layers here. But we want just to do it unlisted, so it doesn't sort of broadcast it. And then you can, it normally brings up your default template here that you want for the description, so you can change all that if you want to. And then you got the category here. So in this one we could say entertainment, and then you can schedule date and time, or where you want to do it. Say in the future, tomorrow at 1 p.m, 1:20 p.m, that'll do. And then you can add a custom thumbnail, or take one from your template. I think you upload it in templates. So you can upload a thumbnail, so we can just use today's one, which is this one here. And we can change that anytime we want to. We can go back and edit it before we go live. And after the live show we can change it as well. And age restriction, that's all you have to do. And say create for that time. And then we can broadcast it around, saying we're doing a live stream tomorrow, and post it around your socials. So you say create. And it should add another one to the list. Here it comes up now, up and coming. Pretty simple, isn't it? The new beta makes it quite easy. And you can see here it's unlisted and the money's turned off. Has not been monetized. For some reason I'm limited already on my current live. I don't know why. I'm always limited for some reason. Google doesn't trust me. And you can see here it's got a bug. So I don't know if YouTube admin are watching, but you can see I did actually select the thumbnail, but it's actually showing me the custom thumbnail. So if I click on that now, it will say, right,